strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Dorien Morin-van.
Hello, hello. It's another Tuesday and another episode of Strategy Talks. I am so excited that you're here. If you're here live joining us, please let us know in the comment where you're joining us from. If you're listening to this episode on the podcast Strategy Talks, thank you so much for listening. I'm so excited to be here for episode 16. Welcome everybody for watching and listening. I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors, Social Insider. They are the intuitive dashboard for social media analytics, reporting, and competitors analysis for brands and agencies. So thank you so much, Social Insider, for sponsoring Strategy Talks week after week. So I am going to bring our guest up in, and then I'm going to, from the green room, and then I'm going to introduce you to her. So here is Milou. Hi, Milou.
Hey, Dorien. I love the intro.
Thank you. My son wrote that for us. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's really cool. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, he wrote it, composed it, and sang it. So for those of you just joining us, our guest today is Milou Pietersz. She's originally from the Netherlands, like I am. She's currently located in Texas and has lived in the US for the past 8 years. She founded Simply Media and Advertising in 2019 in order to help business owners take social media off their plate while being able to work from anywhere. She now runs a boutique small social media marketing agency and leads a team of 5 who helps business owners with done-for-you social media management services from strategy to execution. Simply Media and Advertising specializes in organic social media marketing and offers the following platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. So welcome, Milou.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to just start out. We've got 20 minutes, and here it is. The title says, Collaborating with Your Competition. You're my competition, aren't you?
I know, right? And here we are.
So that's what I love about this topic. When you filled out my Google form to come be my guest after I invited you, you wrote this as, community over community over competition, right? So Let's talk about that. You are my competition. You are an organic social media specialist like I am. You're in Texas. I'm in Vermont. How are we collaborating, and why is collaborating with your competition beneficial?
Yeah, so I just think collaborating is so important, obviously in our industry, but really any industry. Everyone has something else to bring to the table. And something we talked about before as well is that, clients work with you because of who you are, right? Obviously the services you offer and the expertise you have. But we all attract different types of clients and people. So I think that's, first of all, important to point out, right? And I feel like, therefore, I would almost say, right, that we don't have direct competition. And everyone can benefit so much from collaborating, whether it's, complementing each other on each other's services, referrals, whether you have bandwidth, right? If you need to refer a client out, it's valuable to know other experts that you trust to then send clients to.
I love that you trust, right? So you and I, for example, as competitors, we met online. I realized you were Dutch. We started talking. We're like, hey, let's have a virtual coffee. We started talking. I learned more about your business. You've learned more about mine. So like the other day, I saw an opportunity. Somebody says, hey, I need an Instagram manager. I know your specialty is Instagram. So I tagged you in that post. Boom. I don't need that client. I don't do a whole lot on Instagram, even though I'm an organic specialist. You specialize in Instagram. So I'm happily able to tag you. And if they need a referral, I'm happy to give that. So that is one example. How are other ways? And let's go through some of these platforms, those 4 that we mentioned that you're active on. How can people collaborate that are in competition with each other? For example, on Instagram.
Yeah, so I think Instagram is huge on collaborating these days, as they're providing so many collaboration features, right? You can post together with another person in your industry to where it shows up on both of your feed. You can go live together. You can be a guest like I am right now, a guest speaker, a story takeover. The possibilities are really endless. I think on Instagram, there's so many ways to collaborate and expand your audience and get seen by more people. And on top of that, I think Instagram is huge on, other social media managers that support me and learn from me, that then spread the awareness for me as well. And
that's really the strategy behind it, right? Because I know somebody might be watching and going, well, why would you collaborate with your competition? And you said, you have to build that trust first, but then it's tapping into their audience, combining your audience, telling the algorithm we're both sort of influencers, right, within the industry. Yeah. And so when we work together, that really signals to the algorithms on these different platforms, because that's really a reason, right, to get to know when you work together and collaborate on a project or a piece of content, you build that trust together. And then you also, when you post together, you build that audience together. Am I correct in saying that that's part of the strategy?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, especially on Instagram, you want to use all their features, right? That's really what they want. And on top of that, yeah, like you can tap into each other audiences, right? So when you collaborate, you both benefit from that in a way. So I think that's key too, that there's value in it for both parties. And even, when we're talking about referrals and referring clients out that may not be a good fit, you can even think about referral fees, right? Paying a competitor for sending you a referral that they could have kept, for example. Little things like that, I think, make collaborating even more effective. So where people see, hey, there's an incentive, there's something in it for you. It's not a one-way street, obviously.
Yeah. So let's talk about LinkedIn and collaborating on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a place where most of us show off really what we do. This is, in LinkedIn, you're that expert, you're that thought leader. How does collaborating with your competition on LinkedIn make sense? And I have a great example. I know Lisa Danforth is here, and she and I watched 3 LinkedIn ladies that we met at Social Media Marketing World do a collaborative LinkedIn Live. They're all LinkedIn expert, and yet they were together, which I thought was truly amazing. But what would the strategy behind that be? Would you be able to speak to that? And also, like, what other ways on LinkedIn can people collaborate with competition?
Yeah, again, I think it is similar to Instagram in a way. Let's say you go live together and collaborate, even if you're similar experts. Again, like you said, thought leaders, right? Putting yourself out there as experts and for people to trust you, and showing up with other people that have these expertise. And then other ways is kind of what we talked about as well, is, getting insights on your own post from other experts and get their opinion, their perspective, which is, first of all, valuable for anyone to see. And secondly, like on LinkedIn, the algorithm, works great in those terms when someone comments, engages, right? To where it gets seen to their network as well.
All right, so let's talk about another way that you can collaborate with your competition. This is live, right? We're here. It's Tuesday. Yeah. Tomorrow on Wednesday, you and I are going to be part of a panel with Design Hill, which is an awesome company. And I recommended to Design Hill that you would be a great fit for a panel speaker, right? That was me recommending you because I know you have incredible expertise in what you do. And that was another, recommending your competition to work with other companies the strategy behind that is that I think that helps everybody, right? And I love this. This is an American quote, which I know, both of us being Dutch, it took me a while to figure this one out, but rising tides lifts all boats, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when the tide comes in, all of the boats rise together. And so when I recommend you and you're on a panel and some other experts are there, it makes all of us look good.
Yeah, yeah. I like how you put that, and that is so true. Because and even helping other people. Honestly, I always believe those things come back around. If you do it with the right intentions. So yeah, I really think that's I'm on the same page as you, of course.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever written a recommendation for a colleague on LinkedIn?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's another way to collaborate in a way, right? With your competition, writing them a really nice recommendation on LinkedIn. Say, hey, we've collaborated, we worked together, we did a live show, they were guests with me, we worked on a project together. That's a great way to really help your competition out by doing that. So let's move to the next platform, right? How about on Facebook? How can you collaborate with your competition on Facebook?
Yeah, so Facebook is interesting. I know, and I saw that you did write about their organic reach, I think, or we're going to. I love to speak about that too, because I 100% believe it isn't dead either. But yeah, I think on Facebook, again, you can go live, right? That is another thing. But I think tapping into Facebook groups is a huge deal. And that is massively also collaborating with your competition. Like, for example, take Facebook group social media managers, right? That you manage. It is full of competition if you think about it, right? It's all of us in the same industry. There's a lot of job opportunities in there. There are a lot of people even go in there to find someone to collaborate with, right? Whether it's someone to go on their podcast or someone they can refer clients out to. Just like you mentioned earlier when you recommended me to someone in a Facebook group that needed Instagram management.
Right. Yeah. So what the post you mentioned is organic Facebook isn't dead, and and I just wrote that for the Social Media Pulse community, and we had a great conversation around that because people like you and me, and it was Eddie Garrison who was talking, and Phyllis Kerr, and then Christine Gritman, and we were having this conversation, like, yeah, organic Facebook isn't dead, and so how can you use Facebook? And both you and I are, as organic specialists, can attest to that. And the people who chimed in were like, it's not. So Facebook groups, I love that. That's a great example, right? There's a group of 50,000 plus social media managers. Some are social media professionals, some are graphic designers, but we all kind of work in the same industry. And we're talking, we're sharing. It's a forum to help each other out as we work with clients. I have a difficult client, or my client isn't paying, or, how do you put this proposal together? Or, I need some ideas for portfolios. We're all sharing with our competition, lifting each other up so we all can do better for our clients, right? So I love that. I really like this topic. If you're watching this or if you're listening in the podcast, and you're like, hey, I've never really thought about it this way, let us know in the comments. We'd love to know what you think. And also additional ways that you can collaborate with your competition. We'd love to know about that. One of the things that you mentioned in the green room that I didn't even think about as competition, but I'm an organic agency, so are you, and I have collaborated in the past with a Facebook ad agency, right? Which is a perfect fit. In a way, they're my competition, but they're really not. They're complementary to me. And so being able to work with them on clients they're placing ads, I'm doing the organic for them. It's a great collaboration piece. So officially, are we competition? I guess, but really it works really, really, really well. So the last one was Pinterest, which I thought is interesting. You work on Pinterest, I work on Pinterest. How can you collaborate with your competition on Pinterest?
Yeah, honestly, Pinterest, I haven't thought about it as much, but obviously there are collaboration boards. So that is a huge piece, and I guess very much specific to Pinterest. to where you can even start your own collaboration board. I've done that in the past, where I would invite other people in my industry that I knew, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, right? It can be anyone that you both collaborate with, and it really helps drive traffic, right? When you have a collaborative board. I guess potentially on idea pins, you could collaborate in a way. This is something I haven't gone into too much, but I think the most obvious answer there is the collaboration boards. Yeah, and then
All
you
right.
can join with other people too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to show this comment by Lori. She says, I just filled my beta writing group with organic Facebook.
Yeah.
Lori posted, about her writing group on her profile, and she got all this interest and she filled her group with that. So I think it's great. Yeah, organic is certainly not that. So as far as competition, collaborating with competition, there's another interesting thought that just occurred to me. Influencers. In a way, they're competitors of each other, right? Because you're a social media influencer. Maybe you're an expert in home decoration, or maybe you're an influencer in clothing. So now there's other influencers that have that same expertise, right? Why would you want to collaborate as an influencer with other influencers? And go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's the same way as we talked about, like, regular businesses, to where it can be very attractive to brands to see them collaborate, or even, do a sponsored content with them together. And actually that reminds me of, I do sponsored content from time to time on my own page for any marketing related tools. And even what I do with some of the people in my industry that are very active and have a good following on Instagram as well is, refer them and let them know, hey, I did sponsored content with them. You may want to reach out to them and see if they're looking for more people, and even give them the contact info. Like, that way you can support each other. It doesn't hurt me in any way, and it can potentially help someone else get more brand deals that way. Yeah.
Well, what I'm hearing you say, and which is a great way to close out this, that it's beneficial to your clients when you collaborate with your competition. And we hadn't touched on that point, but when you just said that, I was like, that's really what the end goal is, right? We want our clients to be happy. We want them to have the best experience with working with us. So if they need additional help of a videographer, or they need help of an ad specialist, or they need help because they need more influencers, it benefits our clients when we are collaborating with others. And that's really the end game, isn't it, Milou?
Yeah. And it's really also like, how often has it happened, right, that a client needs something just out of your scope? And if you don't have a network, if you don't know the right people that you do trust and have worked with, then, it makes you less valuable if you don't have anyone trustworthy to refer them to, white label, outsource, however you want to do that, right? So, yeah.
So before we leave, we've got about a minute and a half, Milou. How do you build up this network of people? Because that's what I'm hearing you say. It's a network. Like you and I networked and we got to know each other. We had virtual coffees. I know what you do. I know who to refer you to. How do you build up a network when you are a business owner? I know Lori's here, Lisa's here, people are watching this. How can somebody build up a network of people that they trust to collaborate with? And what does that look like, that outreach? Because somebody might be hesitant to do that. How can you encourage them, and what can you tell them is a good way to do this?
So, I think it depends per platform, but in outbound outreach, right, I would say that, see what content aligns with you, what businesses align with you in terms of values, right, and the way they put themselves out there, and simply support them, right? Support their content, interact with their content, share their content if it resonates with you. Those little gestures can go a long way. And from there on, you kind of build a relationship. I even have that when people share my content, I reach out to them, check what services they offer, and see if, maybe we can collaborate, help each other out. Be a valuable source to people, and without expecting something in return necessarily.
So step one is engage with their content, like their content, share, lift them up. And then you do the private reach out on a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn message and say, and that's what you and I did. Hey, you want to hop on a Zoom call, want to get to know you. And then once you have that trust, because you've been on a Zoom, you've had that conversation, now you're ready to really recommend them. So that's step one, step two. And then once you've created content together, you know, that expands your network even more into their audience. So I love that. Well, we have just time for our rapid question round. I don't know if I told you about this, Milou, but I've got 3 questions. They're really quick. So I'm going to ask you, are you a leader or a follower?
I'm definitely a leader. Yeah.
Awesome. Are you a visual learner or verbal learner?
Visual.
Okay. What do you love more, show or tell?
Show.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Milou, how can people connect with you? Because obviously you're an amazing Instagram manager, you're amazing strategist. And I'm going to just put this out there, guys. Follow Milou. She is really good with words. I love how you really talk about strategy, which is great to be on the show. Social media strategy, you really, you know, do a lot of content that speaks to me. Like I was like, oh, I wish I thought of that. Like you're really good. You're really, really good. So I want to have people follow you. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm most active on Instagram since we do a lot of Instagram management under Simply Media and Advertising, where media and advertising, they share the A. And yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I am active without necessarily posting, but I do love connecting with people. I see all my messages and things like that. And I love to collaborate. So feel free to reach out.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much to everybody who was here live. And thank you so much for those who watches on the replay. Put hashtag replay in the comments if you have questions. If you want to connect to Milou, please do. And if you want to collaborate with myself and be on my podcast, be in my live show, feel free to reach out, send me a message. If you want to collaborate with Milou, you know, invite her for a Zoom, you know, go see her content, interact with her content. That is a way to get in front of somebody. I just want to say thank you to everybody once again. Thank you to Social Insider, who is a sponsor of Strategy Talks. And thank you so much for week after week sponsoring this show. I'm going to just say goodbye. Thank you, Milou. I will see you tomorrow for the Design Hill panel. I'll put that link to that panel in there for those of you who are watching this on the replay today on Tuesday. And we'll be live on that panel tomorrow, and you can hear more of Milou and myself when we talk social media strategy. See you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.